I'm not going to keep you long, so let's do this. I just got 220 scriptures to share, so I really don't. You know what I think would be really good? Let's do this, because I want to get into the Ten Commandments part, and they can have the graphic ready in just a moment. But let's be reminded of something. And I think we really, really need to do it. Let's put up 1 Kings 18:21. So I'm going to kind of go off the cuff here just for a minute, because the Lord referenced something in a prophecy this morning. And by the way, Pastor Shane, had he not stepped out, that anointing wouldn't have probably come on the vessel to, lean into what I believe the Lord wanted to say in the earth today. And that was really special. I always say God's heart requires voices. And put your hand up and say, Lord, I'll be one of them. Yeah, learn to speak for God. His heart, he loves to talk, and he loves to communicate. And that's something that I've learned about the Lord. I've gotten times where I've gotten into my prayer time with him, and he's very chatty. And then there's other times where he's quiet, and I don't like those times. I'm like, okay, what is up? So, and then sometimes he makes you wait. You heard me say that. He makes you wait. You're like, can you just, how many of you, that's the worst. I told the Lord, I said, that is the worst word in all of existence is wait. I hate it. How many of you like to wait? I mean, even if it's physical weight, I hate gaining weight, but I hate wait. Okay? I hate the word wait. How many of you like the word wait, where you have to wait? Anybody in here, you like that word wait? Really, you like to wait? You like patience and all that? Really? I need to have you lay hands on me or something. I mean, there's probably no... All right, well, let's look at 1 Kings 18:21. Now, look at what was referenced. And Elijah, the prophet, came unto the people and said, how long are you between two opinions? If the Lord be God, follow him. But if it's Baal, which is really what you're seeing in today's society, this culture, it's kind of the mixture of all these gods, right? You can worship anything. How many have ever seen that little symbol that they put on the back of their car that's got all these different gods? They call it coexisting. No. And it's the mixture of the worship of God with all these other idols and religions and things like that. If Baal, then follow him. Now, notice what it says. Why are you caught between two opinions? And here's what I want to say, because I've had, different panelists and different people say that America's so divided. They will say, they can't believe all the division that's in the United States of America. And whenever somebody says that, I feel, and I can't speak for them, but the God I know, it checks my spirit like that's not right. It's not accurate. It's not true. And I've gone to the Lord about it before, and I've said, Lord, I don't really believe that our country, the United States, is as divided as what they want to make it out. You look at an electoral map, and you look at predominantly the United States of America, it's predominantly red. Conservative, it's the big cities. Now, you say, yeah, but that's what makes up the division. No, because here's the difference. Notice the prophet addressed something about two opinions. You can have two opinions and not be divided 50-50. Do you understand that? You can have two opinions and not be divided 50-50. What they want you to think, especially the liberals and the lying media, is that there is this huge divide in our land, and it is 50-50. And it's starting to gain where on the left and the liberal side and the evil side, it's 52-48. I don't believe that. That's what they want you to think, because here's why. What's happened to the woke merchandise that was in the stores, and the rainbow this and the transgender? I can't find it. Where is the happy holidays? No, you're hearing Merry Christmas. Because it's not that we're a divided nation. We're a nation that is being divided by opinions. Because I believe even the transgender movement, the homosexual community will tell you their movement is less than 2%. So in order to force it and push it and convince you, they have to make you think that either it's even and equally divided or that it's above the people who want morality, who want their children to be able, if they're a boy, to grow up to be a boy, if they're a girl, grow up to be a girl and not have gender confusion, gender mutilation, correct? Are you hearing me? So it's more of, and I hear the Spirit of God saying this, it's more what we're dealing with is opinions, perspectives, mindsets, right? Evil spirits lying to a generation, but it's not as divided. Now, here's what we do need to understand. I want you to look at something. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, God is the God that does create what I call a divide. That's why Jesus said, hey, don't you think for a moment in Luke 21 that I just came to bring a peace. I also came to bring a sword, remember? So it's a dividing line. Even the Bible says that the Word of God is a two-edged sword, right? Dividing between soul and spirit, right? So there's a divide. In Genesis 1, when God created the heavens and the earth, notice, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. Or you could say there's a division between light and darkness, good and evil, sanity and insanity. And a lot of those are formed with opinions, perspectives, mindsets, lifestyles, decisions, right? Now, the reason I say this is because look at John 3, and they're just going to have to go with me, verses 16 through 21. Now, look at what John 3:16 says. You have to see God so loved the world, right? He loved the people of the earth. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Let's keep reading unto verse 21. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world. That's not the mission, but that the world through him might be saved. He that believes on him is not condemned, but he that believes not is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. And this is the condemnation. The light is coming to the world. Now watch this. Watch where the divide comes and where the opinions come. The light, which is Jesus, right? Because remember, John the Baptist said, I'm not the light, I've come to testify of the light. Jesus is the light. John chapter 1, you can read it for your homework, is the light that came in the world to light all men. Right? That's why then Jesus said, you are the light of the world, talking to us. We're not supposed to be hiding and putting our light under a bushel. We're not supposed to not be involved in politics or in the schools or in our community, right? In our neighborhoods. We need to shine our light as representatives of Jesus Christ. When Jesus said, upon this rock, Peter, I will build my church or my ecclesia, and the gates of hell won't prevail against it, he wasn't talking about the church necessarily as much as it was a place that invades the infrastructures of the world, which included politics, right? The economical, social, governmental. So notice the problem is, this is why there's more than one opinion. It's why there is a degree of division, but it's not 50-50. Because men love darkness rather than the light, because their deeds were evil. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing those of you, you're here today, and you that are watching me because you love the light. You love truth. You love God. You love doing what's right. You love walking in what's right. The reason you're in law enforcement and you're in law enforcement. By the way, do you ever want to know what an angel looks like? Sergeant Gordon, stand up. Put a camera on this guy. Look at this guy. Sergeant Gordon, stand up so everybody can see what an angel looks like. Look at that guy. That guy is, nobody would mess with that guy. Right? That's what an angel looks like. And he's blushing, but that's okay. But men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. Look at verses 20 and 21. For everyone that does evil hates the light. Have you ever noticed that? That's really what their agenda is. They want you to be convinced that there's this great divide, right? No, really what it is a small percentage of people that hate God. They hate the light. They hate doing things God's way. They don't like truth. They don't like morality, right? They don't like common sense. They don't like sanity. For everyone that does evil hates the light, neither do they come to the light. That's why they're bent on darkness, lest his deeds should be reproved. In other words, the reason that they want to continue to convince you that two men can get married and then have kids, if they decide that, they want it, they just go to a woman, right? And vice versa. Two women decide they want a kid, they still have to go to a sperm donor. I mean, that ought to be an indication that your theology is jacked up. It don't work. I'm going to put water in my gas tank. And it's supposed to work. Amen. So I tell Brenda, that's why I don't cook. It don't work. I'm a man. I'm a hunter. I hunt the food. Send me to the grocery store. Give me the list. Tell me what you want. And Chief Buffalo Hank will go out and get meat for dinner. I will hunt. What turkey do you want? Last year, she sent me out for the turkey, and she waited too long. And Brenda, I got to say this publicly. I kept telling her she's putting the Christmas tree up. I'm like, Brenda, don't forget the turkey. She goes, oh, I got that. So she sent me out, Chief Buffalo, to go get turkey, hunt turkey. So I went all over. And all the 20-pound ones were gone, like the big fat ones. So last year, we ate, was it parakeet, Brenda? I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was like a sparrow or something, And we didn't even have to cut the turkey. You know how a lot of times you watch those carving shows? No, we just had the little bird here, and I just took its leg and pulled it, and it came off. And so wise saying, if you want big fat turkey, get it ahead of time. And this year she listened, and we already have our turkey. And it's like 20 pounds. It's a big one. And no, Matt, you don't get any leftovers. That's for Chief Dad. And John, no, I'm not sending any in the mail to you anyway. Where was I? I was making a great point. Oh, about the light. Thank you for those of you that are listening in that section over there. Everybody else over here was like, I don't know, what's it talking about? Well, you were writing something. Yeah, they're writing down their Thanksgiving list. Get the turkey. Get that turkey. I know. You just got to deal with that foul thing. All right, now. Oh, I can hear the noise of the, oh. Florida State kind of has that. Whoa, whatever. Neither do they come to the light. Here's why. Here's why a lot of these people, they keep fighting to convince themselves to put on a wig, shave their hairy legs, put a dress on, and walk in as a man, dressed up like a woman, in a woman's restroom. And they won't change. It's because, here's what it says. The reason they won't come to the light, they won't come to common sense, they won't come to truth, is because their deeds would be reproved. They don't want anyone to tell them what they already know. They don't want them to already tell them, it don't work. Right? You can't have children, 2 women by themselves, and 2 men. Verse 21. But he that does truth comes to the light. Pastor, why do you preach that way? Because I've come to the light. I walk in the light. And I'm sure as heck not going to play imagination and dress up. That his deeds may be made manifest, that were brought in God. When you are a person of the light, you will be one who won't avoid the truth. You'll get involved in your society. You'll get involved in the community, in the city council, right? There's an abortion. What is it, Pastor Doug? Petition to end abortion in Nebraska. Sign it. Why? Because you've come to the light. So that what we stand for as representatives of the light may be made manifest. The reason we don't get things done in our country is because we have the light, but we don't shine it. So our deeds are never known. It's like, come on, Republicans, you have the House and the Senate. Do something. And that, I'm telling you, don't expect a red wave unless there's a red line drawn first. The Republican Party better start getting stronger regarding the things that, quote, is supposed to be their party platform and quit loosening it so that they can, somehow convince the moderates to come over to them by coming down to their level. No, you don't. You hold your standard. That needs to be said. All right. But look at Matthew chapter 4, because even in all the division and everything that's going on in the crazy world, right? Look at what the light does. This is why I'm convinced in my heart the northern lights, God on purpose allowed the people to see it, is He's trying to get us to look up. That even though it's dark in the earth, it's crazy, it looks strange, it looks like, man, nothing's going to get better, it's forcing you to look up and get your perspective according to God. And notice what people were looking at. They were looking at the light in the midst of what? Darkness. Because God's saying, even though things are divided, I'm trying to show you there is a light, and it is so beautiful. Because it's not only in the natural, but it's what God is doing in the spirit realm, where He's invading the earth with His light. Well, how do I know? Look here. Matthew chapter 4. Look at what happened in Jesus' first coming. Jesus comes into the earth, and it says that Jesus was led into the Spirit, or led by the Spirit into the wilderness of the devil. Now look at verse 14. I think it's verse 14. 16, Matthew 4:16. There it is, it's 16. The people, notice, which sat in darkness. Okay, so have we seen darkness? Have we seen people sitting in darkness? I mean, churches are being filled more so than they've ever been filled. We're seeing more and more people getting baptized, not just this church, but all over. College campuses are being filled with young people that are defying liberalism that's being preached by their professors. Right? The indoctrination that's happening on college campuses. Man, they're having whole revival meetings. Man, I love our quarterback, Dylan Raiola. Did you see what he did? Our Nebraska quarterback, he actually helped to organize a worship meeting on the outside. It was a cold day too, and they were singing Yeshua to God. It's happening. Why? Because you can get so focused on the darkness and be so convinced that there is this huge division going on in the earth that is overtaking the good. Well, if you believe CNN, Crappy News Network. I know you probably shouldn't say that word. Probably shouldn't say that word in church. I was speaking of fish. Crappie. Is that what they're called? Oh, crappie. I'm sorry. I was trying to get the fish right. I'm sorry. When it came out, I was like, that's not the right way to say the fish. All right, reel me in, Lord. Reel me in. Reel me in. Hold on. I got to do the sign. I'm not Catholic, but it's something like this. Have the collar, I look priestly. Okay, here we go. Got to get back there now. I said a word. I don't want it. Don't you write on social media. It was an accident. What's my point? Okay, but CNN and all those liars, they want you to think this great divide and they're gaining ground. And I'm here to tell you they're losing ground. They're losing ground. And they're going to lose more if you vote, stand, speak up, right? And shine the light. And let a few people manifest some devils. The people which sat in darkness saw what? A great light. Now, stop. Those of you that are watching, what was greater? The darkness that people were sitting in or the light? Because it didn't say it was great darkness. What did it reference? A greater thing that had come into the earth. A greater light. How many of you ever turned your light on in your house? It's not a trick question. I mean, of course you have. Light always will do what to the darkness? That's a heavy word, expel. Sounds like it's almost like exorcist-like, you know, expels the darkness, right? But no, it always overcomes the darkness. Those that sat in darkness saw a greater light. And to them which sat in the region, the shadow of death, light sprung up. In other words, where there was a culture of death, where there was, come on, there's been a culture of death. But what countered it? Light. Because even though you may have more than one opinion, God inserts himself and shifts things. Now, go to Isaiah 60. Look at verses 1 through 3. I'm just preaching off my cuff. I've rolled them up. I don't know where I'm going, but we're going to go somewhere because I'm going to get you out of here by 11:15. Why? Because I can. And I feel like we've done most of what God wanted. So, arise, shine, for the light, I can't see it anywhere, God. Social media, nothing's happening. Oh, they're coming up with all these indictments, and Fannie Wilson, we all know that Fannie has got her Fannie in trouble, and nothing's going to happen to Fannie. And Jack Smith, what he told, don't believe Jack squat. Hit the road, Jack, don't you ever come back. Ain't nothing happening. And now that the shutdown's happening, what we're starting to see opening up is Trump and Epstein files again. And you're going to believe it? When are you going to stop? They got to come up with something new. Don't write anymore. Nothing's happening or will happen. What are you looking at? You guys saw my Northern Light picture. Whether you think it was something, it was something. Might not have been the Northern Lights, but it was something. And it looked light-like. So here's my point. Something's happening. Because God says, arise, shine, for the light has come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. Now here's the problem. Here's why people write stuff like that. Here's why people get in fear. Here's why people, get all nervous and upset and go hide out and store up beans and rice and go buy a cave that you don't know. It's like a timeshare. 800 other people own that same cave, and when you go out there to get in it, everybody's gonna be like, did you type in tribulationcave.com? Yeah. Man, we've been played. We've been played. There's only room enough for 2. There's 700 of us out here. Huh? And the government don't know where you are. Now they do, because while you're out there at your hidden cave that you paid all this money for, tribulation cave, the government's going ding, ping, ching, and it's got your cell phone. Well, I got the kind they can't track. Oh, okay. Just checking. Just checking. Look at, you know it's true. That's why you're saying what you're saying. Nothing. Okay. Look at verse 2. Yeah, thank you, Willie. Look at verse 2. I'm going to say it like, and behold. That sounds really powerful, doesn't it? And behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. This is why people get in fear. They believe the news. They get all wigged out, right? Is because they focus on the darkness. They focus on the gross darkness. And then they allow the lying devil, who loves to use as the prince of the power of the air, the media, to convince you that there's more evil happening than good. And that is so divided, and they're gaining traction. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness. We've seen gross darkness, right? A dude with hairy legs and nylons is gross. I'm not saying shave them and wear them, dude, either. Are we having an honest conversation here, or is it just me? Okay. But, so I was in Minnesota. And I was reading that verse, and I started going down this path when I went to, what's that guy's church up there in St. Paul? Mac Hammond's, thanks for Flashpoint Live. And I was praying, and I'm like, God, it's so dark out here. It is so gross. God, it is so dark. It is so gross. And all of a sudden, I heard the Lord shout. I am not kidding. You say, was it verbal? I don't know. All I know, it was reprimanding. So whether it was like verbal, you know, like, or, no, audible, like audible. I don't know if it was audible. It was loud enough to be reprimanding. And I heard the Lord say, but I, the Lord, shall arise. And I stopped. And I said, my Lord, forgive me. I was focusing more on the darkness and the gross darkness, and I wasn't even focusing on the answer. You. Now, how many remember Schoolhouse Rock? Conjunction, junction, what's your function? All you young people, look it up. It's called Schoolhouse Rock, Conjunction, junction. Let's sing it for them. What's your function? Conjunction, and then the ends, F. Yeah, what? Yeah, you all know what it is. You guys will do anything. Bark like a dog. No, I'm just teasing. Oh, you will. See, some of you did. All right, well. But anyway, but notice something, the conjunction. It connects something. Even though it's dark, even though it's gross, look what God does to make a clear distinction. But the Lord shall arise, and his glory will be seen on thee. Now, what's going to happen to the world? Look at verse 3. And the Gentiles, that's the non-Jewish people, that's like the rest of the world, are going to do what? They're going to come to the light. They're going to come to truth. They're going to come to sanity. They're going to come to changing laws and legislation. It's going to hit them upside the head because a light is going to come on. That's why it's not as divided as Jezebel wants you to think. And kings, oh, you mean you're mixing politics with that light, God? Uh-huh. Kings, governments are going to do what? Or come to the brightness of the rising. You're going to see a shift in governments and kingdoms and leaders too. All right, let's go back because I want to end this. Pastor Doug, you can start heading towards your donuts before you get up here. Now watch, go to Exodus 8. He's not moving. Pastor Doug, you're welcome to come on. You can start in that direction. Don't you love Pastor Doug? You know, I got to tell you a story. Hey, Pastor Doug. Hey, Pastor Doug. Wave at everybody. Can you get a camera shot on him so that the world can see you? No, okay, that's Pastor Doug. Now, I got to tell you a story. You can come up these stairs right here. Come up the stairs. That one. So, let me tell you how powerful something is. So, probably, our church is 28 years old, so probably 30 years ago. Was it? No, did we have our church, Brenda, when I heard the Lord speak this about Pastor Doug?
No. Oh, you did?
Yeah. So we were probably 2 years old as a church. We only had like 40 people. And Pastor Doug was associate pastor at a really, really big church. And he's an expert in what he does. And he walks in, and I heard the Lord say, see that man? I'm like, man, he's got a nice set of hair. Yes, I do. Because that's what I said. He doesn't have a great head of hair. And the Lord says, see that man? Yeah, he's got a great head of hair, God. He said, that man is called to you. I'm like, I have 40 people in my church. You ever done what Mary did? How can this be? But we're so honored. How many years you been with us, man?
10 years.
You've been here a decade?
Yes.
Do you like it?
Oh, I love it.
Okay. I hope so. We sure love him, but he's going to be out here in just a minute because I told you I'd get you out of here. Exodus 8. Now, I want to close this because people think there's this great divide going on. And it's so getting out of hand. No. If we would just do our part, especially voters, New York City would not have gone the direction that it went. If people would have just got out there and voted, did their part, I mean, we're going to see this thing start shifting. Okay, now I want you to look at Exodus 8. Now, here's what I want you to look at, all right? I want you to look at something. Pay very attention to words when you read. Exodus chapter 8, let's look at verse 18, 19, and then 23, all right? Let's start with verse 18. So the magicians were obviously part of the satanic kingdom of Pharaoh and Egypt. And they were able to emulate or to copy the first two plagues. I think one was turning blood, and I don't remember what the second one was. Y'all probably know the Bible better than I do. Huh? What is it, lice? Yeah, thank you. And then the third one, notice all of a sudden the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lives. Now, underline this phrase because I heard the Lord say, this is the word of the Lord for the season we're heading into. This is why we have got to up our prayers, up our involvement, get out of the thinking that this nation is so divided so you're more frustrated than you are activated. You're more frustrated so you're withdrawn more than you're involved. Well, what's the use? I've had people say that. What's the use? We've tried. Nothing ever happens. Quit saying that. Stop. Underline these words. But the warlocks could not. Underline, circle, kiss, could not. There came a point where no matter how evil it was, no matter how much witchcraft, it lost its power or its ability. It was restrained by a higher force. It's called the light. What always overcomes the darkness? The light. Why could those witches and warlocks not do anything? They couldn't because something greater restrained them. This, my friends, is your 2026. And this is important. No, this is important. Listen. And the reason this is important, they could not, is because God was doing something. So let's keep reading. So there were lice upon man and upon beast. Now look at verse 19. And the magician said unto Pharaoh, this is the finger of God. What does that mean? The God factor. Underline that. I've been talking about the God factor. God inserts himself. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened and hearkened not unto them, and as the Lord had said. Now look at verse, I think I said 23. What was the reason? And God said, I'm going to do the dividing. I'm going to put a distinction. Now that word in the Hebrew is also distinction, a clear difference. You could put that down. I'll put a division. I'm going to put a clear difference between my people and thy people. And tomorrow shall this sign be. I want you to stand to your feet because this is what God is saying to us. God is creating such a dividing line. They could not. Now, I want to show you as you're standing. I'm going to pray a prayer, and then Pastor Doug's going to end it here, close it quickly. All right, Exodus 14. I believe that this is happening. You have to understand history. This isn't trying to be right-wing like they'll accuse. It's just Bible history. Pharaoh and his leftist soldiers that represented their socialistic government. What do I mean by socialistic? This is why that New York City mayor is dangerous. Right? We're going to take away capitalism, make everybody, have the same, wages and blah, 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 right? Basically, you become a brick maker. You become enslaved to a system, right? Less government is always better. Now, yeah, and so that's why I like Donald Trump, because he's America's first. He's about the people. Now, here's the thing. Exodus 14, look at what God promised. And this is why I'm telling you, there is something happening. Look at verse 12 and 13, and then through 14. 12 through 14, I'm going to make it very quick. Is not the word that we tell thee in Egypt, so the people started mumbling. They couldn't see the light. Let us alone, that we may go back to socialism. That's what New York City said. Not all of them. For it'd be better for us to serve Mom Kami. Verse 13, and Moses said unto the people, fear not, stand still, New York City. Read the prophecy. Go out and see it from November 2nd. God told you how it's going to end up. You're going to see the salvation of God. Now look here very, very carefully. There are certain things governmentally. Who did the Lord call out? Ukraine, and what was the other one today? Venezuela. God called them out. So pay attention. Because there are certain things, what I just showed you in Exodus 8. God inserting his finger now, that is going to literally shift things towards the light. And as the magician said, we cannot, notice what God said. The Egyptians, woke, liberalism, transgenderism, Islam, some of this that you see today is not going to have its hold. Is not going to have its ability to paralyze a nation or afflict them at the level they did. This is what's happening. Why? Look at verse 14. This is what God said. I, the Lord, will fight for you, and you need to keep your mouth shut. And the Father would say, you don't have anything faith-filled to say,